So you own them, you don't rent them. They can simplify crypto transactions. They enable censorship-resistant websites. They are called blockchain. What are they called? Domains or identifiers?
Well, it depends who you're asking. I think in the ICANN world, if I bring ICANN back into it, people would probably prefer that they're referred to as identifiers rather than domains. And partly that's probably to do with trying to avoid confusion with what we would associate to be traditional domain names like your .coms, your .infos, your .nets and things like that. So.
Yeah, which is a massive established market.
Correct.
But I was thinking about blockchain domains because they're there, they're lurking. They're not yet automatically routing to things via browsers or routing to websites via browsers, but they are routing to crypto wallets, and worse, you can't get to a crypto wallet from a domain name. So it's actually occupying a piece of the market which domain names won't do.
Yeah, I mean, so that is exactly right. The predominant use case for blockchain identifiers or domains is to help people transact with cryptocurrency. And it goes back to the reason why we have traditional domain names like .com is so that people don't have to remember IP addresses.
Yeah.
Blockchain domains are there so you don't have to remember long crypto hashes.
And let's be clear, they're not like a 4-part IP address 192.168.2. No, they are OXC34506A7.
Yes.
5
You would have to
GNE8770. Is that 00 or is that 00RJ4R? You know, that's my crypto wallet address. I'll just read it out to you.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas in fact, you can have alice.crypto. And because you've reserved that identifier.
Cool. It is pretty cool. Yeah, I think the thing, when I started learning about blockchain domains, I was like, what is this? I don't understand. And I guess there's bits of it that I'm starting to see as like, oh, maybe this could be something really helpful, you know, with increasing kind of spam and fraud and scams and needing to know who's a human, who's an AI. Yes. The idea of like maybe blockchain could play a role in that. And also the thing that you introduced this topic with of you can own them rather than rent them really kind of clicked something in my head, because there's a big discussion at the moment about like we subscribe to everything now. It's like you've got your 4 streaming platforms, your account for this, your printer needs a subscription, and you only ever rent a domain name. So I'm renting the internetseriously.com for 2 or 3 years, and then in 2 or 3 years somebody else could come along and take it away.
If you forget to renew it.
If I forget to renew it, or you know, in 50 years' time, you know, who knows what will happen. And then a blockchain domain you can own, which kind of seems like an amazing concept.
And another aspect, Emily, I'm going to just read this. They enable censorship-resistant websites because blockchain domains are decentralized and stored on a blockchain, often linked to decentralized hosting like the interplanetary file system. They are much more difficult to censor or take down by a central authority, government, or even the domain provider itself. This offers a new level of freedom and resilience for online content.
And this is sort of a back to the internet's first promise, really, which was that of a distributed authority. And in a way, domain names always broke that rule because they're very hierarchical and they end up with one single point of control in the root. Whereas the whole blockchain identifier concept, in a way, I can imagine that people in the ICANN environment who are predominantly from the domain name industry or have made their careers relating to it, very nervous, because it really, if they do take hold, and I'd be interested if you know about the uptake of blockchain domains, how's it going? Is it rapidly growing, or is it sort
it's
of
probably so there was a spike probably around 2020 2021 where it kind of took off and there was a huge upsurge in registrations. That has kind of slowly settled, but they are still there is still a large uptake of these domains. And just to touch on various points, the problem that people will have is that with regards to the ownership is that only those who have control of the wallets of those identifiers can control what happens. So that's where things can't be taken away. You are effectively in ICANN you're renting, you can own for life a blockchain domain, but there is also some providers who do rent them. So there is that similar aspect where you can just have it for 1 or 2 years. If you forget to renew, someone else can pick it up. But that is also, a possibility as well.
So what were you talking about at ICANN?
So I was talking at ICANN specifically about some of the research that we're doing. It's part of what we do. We like to, perform research, and blockchain is one area that I'm quite passionate about. I quite enjoy, looking at new technology and different ways of doing things. So I was sharing our experience of the research that we've done around the different providers or the different companies who sell blockchain domains. How much they cost, where they're located, how easy it is to set them up, what browsers support them, all various different aspects.
What browsers do support them? Do we
know?
So
currently there are 2 browsers who offer native support, which is Brave and Opera. There may be some others as well, but those are the 2 most prominent. Otherwise, in order to get them to root, you have to use plugins, additional downloads and things like that.
But it's happening.
Yeah, it is happening.
Do you feel like it's progressing since, we were starting to look at blockchain domains a couple of years ago, and probably around that kind of crest of the wave. Do you feel like that the support and the integration with the domain name system is increasing? And my other question to you is, I guess the big topic of conversation at this ICANN was the opening of the publication of the new GTLD handbook, which is a new round of domain endings. So you can, to me, it sounds like you can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and spend years going through a process with ICANN for a regular domain, or you can just rock up and do your own top-level domain in the crypto system. Was there much anxiety about this disparity?
There is some anxiety, and that we addressed in a research project that we did a couple of months ago, where we looked at collisions between blockchain and the traditional DNS space. And interestingly enough, at the top level, I'm talking about the .com, .nets, that level of domains, there isn't much collision currently. Now, with the next round of GTLDs from ICANN, chances are people are going to be very interested in purchasing digital wallet-related, cryptocurrency-related top-level domains, and a lot of those already exist in the blockchain space.
Yes.
So that is an area where,
like for example, .oxford, it could well be a new GTLD second round name because it doesn't exist, and you've got real success in places like .hamburg, where they're selling millions of them.
Yes.
If Oxford get its act together and do something like getting this top-level domain for their city use and students, you may find a .oxford. I know there are already hundreds of .oxford, .oxford Uni, .oxford Health derivatives in the blockchain space. How are they going to claim first come, first serve rights to that space?
Well, and that's, I think, a question that nobody has properly got the answer to, and I don't know what will happen in that scenario.
Right. There's
and
one other thing.
One thing I picked up in the room when Nathan was presenting at ICANN was a sense that there might be also a sort of competition going on a bit there. Actually, that people might deliberately register DNS equivalents of the blockchain to almost sort of try and knock it on the head and try not to, and a very strong
like if I go and buy facebook.com, the blockchain domain, and then be like, oh well, it's mine, you can buy it back for £1 million.
Exactly, or just that we're bigger than you currently, and if we sort of capture the market enough, then we can sort of forget about that alternative route.
Alice, there's a real angle that I want to talk about with you, which is we from the traditional internet community just completely airbrush and elephant in the room gaming. And in the gaming sphere, I've been told by members of my other members of my family that there's a lot of scams and fraud happening in that space. Crypto wallets are a big part of reward and benefit in the gaming world, and blockchain identifiers are recognized in the gaming world, and therefore passing off as a brand, as somebody else, is prevalent in that space. And I'm interested in your thoughts as somebody who enjoys games to play.
Yeah,
Whether
I mean,
there's
I'm a
any
big
discussions about
gamer.
that.
I haven't really come across this, but one sort of other area I know about is the art world and the digital art world. And so in that research project that we've been doing, I would say the best kind of blockchain identifier service was, I think it's art.ai or art.
There's a .art.
Art. That's it. Art is a blockchain and traditional,
Yes.
and it's the
It's a collision.
ICANN. They made it. They were like, we are launching a blockchain and traditional domain together.
Yeah.
And it seems like really well established, like it's going well, and actually could provide a service for digital artists where it's like, this allows you, like I was kind of
Provenance,
talking
yes,
about, of
yeah.
like,
Fingerprinting.
I am a real human.
Yeah.
I'm creating my identity in two different ways, and I don't know. I think maybe that could be a positive use of blockchain domains
Well,
for the
yeah.
digital.
Well,
art
we're going to
community.
keep tracking